I 100% think marriage is a good thing. I don't think marriage is a bad thing, but I believe the legal stuff that comes with marriage is I cannot stand up by that whatsoever. When you have child support, alimony, courts, Department of Family and Services, when you have all this government intervention getting involved in your life and literally ruining you, that's that when I see the risk of marriage versus no marriage, that's when I'm like, okay, like that I can't just usher people into the fucking slaughterhouse. You know what I mean?
What do you think, John?
Yeah, I
mean,
like
as a divorced
the
guy,
idea
you
of
probably
being
got a
married.
different view on marriage.
Yeah,
than the
no, well, I
average
mean, I
guy.
like the idea of being married. I like growing up in a family where we're all together. But yeah, like even before I got married, that's what I was pushing towards. Because like before, I went to college. I was all about, I want to find the love of my life, get married, have kids, and then college kind of red pilled me a little bit in the sense that I was like, marriage is stupid. Why get married? You can have girlfriends and have kids without being married. I'm just going to do that. And then when I met my ex, I changed my mind. The sex was good, so I left from that. And then I tried to push her for a long time not to get married, and I wanted kids, and she held that hostage for me. She's like, "Well, I can't. My parents will lose their mind if I have kids without being married first. So you have to marry me before we have kids."
Yeah, and that's so weird because she was the one that divorced you too, right? So it's like, I will give you children if you marry me. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, fine, you capitulate, you get married, and then she's like, I'm out.
Were there red
marriage
flags,
had no meaning whatsoever.
John? Were there red flags that you ignored or you weren't aware of now that you're red pilled and you're like looking back? I've seen
yes.
that now.
Yes. Well, I mean, the whole, when they show you who they are, believe them type of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, oh, she's just saying whatever. Like she said a lot, like, I don't want kids. I don't want to be a mom. I don't want to be a wife. If they say that, if they give you the impression that children are a burden rather than something it's going to be awesome. Like if it's not in their mindset, it's like, I can't wait. Kids are so cool. Like it's going to be awesome to have kids. If they have it in their mindset, they're like, oh man, I have to give up and sacrifice so much to have a kid. Like if they're talking about sacrifice through having children, then that's a red flag because they're not really there. They don't want to do it. And they're probably not going to be good mothers. And they're going to be one of those women that use the children as a status symbol, but they don't actually raise them. So that's one of the things you said earlier, Rich, was like, they won't have the mother around, if you'd have a surrogate. But like, I don't see a lot of these mothers around as it is.
Being mothers, yeah.
Because they pop the kid out and then they have a full-time nanny who feeds the kid, the breast milk or the formula. And then they put them into preschool and the daycare. And they're not spending any time with the kids. So like, I would think there's a large, that's why there's so many of the guys who are messed up. There's a lot of these women aren't even mothers. They disdain their child. They've been brainwashed into thinking that it's a burden and it's a sacrifice to raise a child, and they don't spend any time with them. I was pushed into spending $20,000 a year for preschool, while my ex wasn't even working at the time, and I was, I only needed 3 hours of support where I wasn't watching the kid. That's all I needed per day was 3 hours because that was my training, and I needed a little bit of time to rest afterwards, and like that was still, no good. No, they have to go to this super expensive private school, and that costing us $60,000. Well, I could have put that money into cryptocurrency or something at the time. It's like 2014 when it was under $1,000, and it's just a lot of the attitude for those women is just,
Dude,
kids
you're
are
cutting the core of it. You see what I mean though? Like marriage had no lick of difference on any of John's shit there. Completely tangential. So everybody talking about they want to get married. I don't think they want to get married. I think they have an image in their head of what that marriage entails. And that's what they want, but they aren't able to articulate
some kind of finish line for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, like the comparison that he made was between marriage and starting a business. And his argument was, if you go online and you're looking for information on starting a business and you're barraged by videos on how risky it is, the taxation, the hours, the government regulations, employee issues, how you're going to get ripped off, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, there's no scenario. It's like apples and oranges. Okay. Like in a marriage contract, the woman is rewarded. And if you don't understand, guys, like get my book off Amazon. Okay. Read it. There's an entire chapter on why smart men don't marry anymore. the concept of marriage cannot be compared to the concept of starting a business, because in a marriage, a woman is rewarded richly for breaking that contract. Okay. There's a lot of things that happen, which I don't have 45 minutes to explain right now, but there's a lot of things that happen where she's going to be rewarded richly for breaking that. There's no scenario in which a business partner, a employee, a customer is rewarded for screwing you over. It only exists in a marriage contract. So, I mean, you got to look at the reality of it all. It's like, okay, step back a little bit farther from the forest, or maybe step a little closer to the forest to see it more for the trees and the bushes and the berries and the squirrels and all that sort of stuff, if you know what I mean.